Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tasha Vandekam, Mr. Saiful, our lecturer for subject Fundamental Financial Accounting and Reporting for the semester, and all of my class who are with us today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's an honor for me and my team, Ain, Zulaika, and Shasha, that we are able to stand in front of you to deliver this presentation. The topic of our presentation is Financial Accounting and Reporting of a Sole Proprietorship or Partnership Business. As we know that in this subject, students need to be able to perform communication skills in tasks related to financial accounting and reporting for sole proprietorship. Hopefully, the presentation will get to explain everyone to get the overall picture on financial accounting and reporting, which in this case studies school with one-stop enterprise. In the presentation, we will cover five main content: background of the business, their characteristic, and the classification of item in business, identification and recording process, and lastly, strengths and weaknesses. So that would be the overall structure of our presentation. And now let's move on to the next speaker, Zulaika.
My name is Nurul Zulaika binti Zulkifli. Today I will present about our company background. Our company name is Kumit One Stop Enterprise that is owned by Kumishira, who is 22 years old. We established this shop on 1st January 2021 and it started from her personal savings and her personal loan family, that is 38,000 ringgit Malaysia. And our shop we sell and provide a woman and a man item needs, that is such as woman bags, hiking bags, wallet, sock, caps and hat, hardware, kitchens, airplanes, home airplanes and more. And it is located at lot 47 Jalan 45 Pantai Dalam, Kuala Lumpur. And we will open our shop from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. every Monday until Sunday, but we will be closed on Thursday only. And the interesting about our shop is we provide a running service, that is the customer will be order and can order their needs just from their home, and they can pay their item just using PayWave, Maven to you, Direct Debit and Maven to you, because in our shop we have just two staff, so they can contact our staff, that is two staff. This slide tell about characteristic business for our shop. There is Kumit One Stop Enterprise is a sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is an unincorporated business entity with a single owner who is Kumishera, that will be responsible for the business decisions and liabilities. For the tax for our business, we will have to pay our tax just for the proceeds, and it's depending on level of its attorney in this shop. So Kumishira, who is the owner of the company, will report an income and earn through her personal return. We does not pay income tax separately for the company, but we will report business income or losses on her individual account on her income in tax return. And the advantage of the sole proprietorship is we have a full control of business decisions, and we are being able to make decisions on the spot. No formal decisions or evaluation process will be needed in sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is a personal asset will be at risk because we will be accountable for all the business liabilities. That means all the business debt and losses liabilities will be exposed to the risk and debt and lawsuit.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shasha binti Karim Rizam. My ID is 2021230682. In this part, I will explain about classification of business item in Kumit One Stop Enterprise. There is 6 categories involved in this business, such as assets, liability, drawing, capital, revenue, and expenses. Let's go for it. An asset is very important for any kind of business because it will get the business gain profit and the business will running well. There is 2 types of assets. It is known as current assets and non-current assets. In this business, the current assets are cash in hand, cash in a bank, account receivable, inventory, universe, subscription, and material supplies known as Pinky Star Trading, Syarikat Perniagaan Maju, FF Yinling Enterprise. The non-current assets in the business could meet one-stop enterprise are furniture like steel rack, set office table and chair, showcase display chiller, full set desktop computer, set office group desk, stationary office supplier, and printer. The total all of item around 8,000 Malaysian ringgit. Liability is the amount of money that person give as a credit or loan facility for the business financially at any one time. There is two types of liability, which are current liability and non-current liability. Pinky Star Trading and Syarikat Perniagaan Maju work account payable to the business could means one-stop enterprise. It is because I'm paid and they need to pay before 12 months. It is classified as current liability. Could make one-stop enterprise borrow money in a cash worth around 25,000 ringgit from parents and will pay it back more than 1 year. It is classified as non-current liability. The business owner withdraw cash or asset for personal use have been called as drawing. The owner of Cool Meat One Stop Enterprise take out some money in the cash and school supplier for her own personal use. In 13 December, she was took cash around Rm 1,200 and school supplies for inventory for personal use worth Rm 120. Capital is the money or asset invested into a business by its owner. Cool Meat One Stop Enterprise started operating with capital around 30,000 in cash and 8,000 for the furniture that brought by the owner. Revenue is the total amount of income generated by the sales of goods or service related to the company primary operation. Operating revenues and non-operating revenues are the two types of revenue. Non-operating results are irrelevant in this business. Operating revenue in the business could mean one-stop receive daily business transaction at least 25,000 a month. However, the business received a lot positive feedback from customers. The revenue start increase on December 2020 around 29,620. Expenses is the money companies spend or costs being depend by the business in their effort to generate revenue. Operating expenses that could make one-stop enterprise spend are purchase of a goods, salary, utilities and rent expense. For non-operating expense will include assets, depreciation, and tax expense.
A few transactions happens between 1st to 25th December. So on 1st December, May introduced 38,000 cash and 8,000 worth of displayed racks to the business. So in this transaction, we debit furniture 8,000, cash 38,000. Meanwhile, we credit capital 46,000 ringgit. On 2nd December, 6,000 by cash was given to the shop owner as a 2-month deposit and 3,000 cash for December rental. On this transaction, we debit monthly rental 3,000 ringgit as expenses and rental deposit 6,000 ringgit as asset. So we credit cash 9,000 ringgit in total. 3rd December, we borrowed 25,000 ringgit cash from parents and deposited 10,000 ringgit into the bank. So in this transaction, we debit bank 10,000 ringgit and cash 15,000 ringgit. Meanwhile, we credit parents loan as liability 25,000 ringgit. For 4th December, we purchased stock for shop worth 35,500 by cash. So in this transaction, we debit purchases 35,500 and credit cash 35,500. On 5th December, we sold food beverage item on credit to Kutajuang Enterprise worth 2,560 ringgit. So in this transaction, we debit Kutajuang Enterprise as an receivables 2,560 and credit sales. On 6th December, Kutajuang Enterprise returned food beverage item worth 200 ringgit. So we debit return invoice and credit Kutajuang Enterprise as receivable. On 7 December, we purchased women needs supplies from FF Sinlin Enterprise on credit worth 3,250. So we debit purchase and credit FF Sinlin Enterprise as payables. So 8 December, we return damaged women needs supplies to FF Sinlin Enterprise worth 150. So we debit FF Sinlin Enterprise and credit return outwards. 9 December, Kutajuang Enterprise paid cash 1,560 on the food beverage item purchase. So we debit cash and credit Kutajuang Enterprise as receivable. On 10 December, we sell home decoration item worth 19,300, 6,500 paid by cash, and 12,800 paid by bank. So we debit cash 6,500 and debit bank 12,800. Meanwhile, we credit sales in total of 90,300. On 11 December, we paid 3,100 to FF Sinlin Enterprise by bank. So we debit FF Sinlin as payables and credit bank. On 12 December, we paid electrical for 267 ringgit, water expenses for 58 ringgit, indah water expenses for 24 ringgit, and block maintenance for 48 ringgit by bank. So we debit electrical expenses 267 ringgit, water expenses 58 ringgit, indah water expenses 24 ringgit, and block maintenance for 48 ringgit. Meanwhile, we credit bank 397 ringgit in total. In December, we withdrew cash 1,200 ringgit to pay for Uitm fees, which is for personal use. So here, we debit drawings, credit cash. For 14 December, Kutajuang Enterprise paid 800 ringgit by bank and purchased new stock home care worth 5,590 on credit. In this transaction, we have two transactions happen. So first, we debit bank 800 ringgit and credit Kutajuang Enterprise. Meanwhile, we debit Kutajuang Enterprise for 5,590 and credit sale 5,590. For 15 December, Perfect MI Trading purchased item on credit worth 2,170. So we debit Perfect MI Trading as a receivable and credit sales. 16 December, Kutajuang Enterprise return defect item home care worth 89 ringgit. So we debit return inwards and credit Kutajuang Enterprise as a receivable. 17th December, we paid Unified subscription 190 ringgit while the subscription supposed to be 139 ringgit per month. So it is a prepaid transaction by bank. So first, we debit internet subscription expenses for 139 ringgit and debit prepaid internet subscription by 51 ringgit, and then we credit bank 190 ringgit. For 18 December, we purchased school supplies item from Pinky Star Trading by bank worth 6,340 ringgit. So we debit purchase and credit bank. For 19 December, we purchased retail store supplies from Syarikat Perniagaan Maju on credit worth 1,250. So we debit purchases and credit Syarikat Perniagaan Maju as payables. On 20th December, Kutajuang Enterprise paid 501 ringgit by cash. So we debit cash and credit Kutajuang Enterprise as receivables. 21st December, Medotre took school supplies from inventory for personal use worth 120 ringgit. So we debit drawings and credit purchases. On 22nd December, we get GKP 2.0 worth 500 ringgit and Bantuan Peniaga Sarawak 800 ringgit by cash. So we debit cash 1,300 ringgit and credit GKP 2.0 500 ringgit and Bantuan Peniaga Sarawak 800 ringgit as an income. On 23rd December, Perfect MI Trading was announced bankruptcy and turned into a bad debt with debt 2,170 ringgit. So we debit bad debt as an expenses and credit Perfect MI Trading as an receivables. So on 24th December, may put 3,000 ringgit into the business by cash. So debit cash and credit capital. On 25th December, we paid salary for 2 employees worth 3,500 ringgit by bank. So we debit salary and credit bank.
Hello, next, we move to the next part, which is accounting cycle in recording process. I will present to you on how Kumit wants to record the business transaction. During the interview, Ms. May mentioned that they do not hire a full-time accountant. However, Ms. May has been studying accounting and be able to self-record transaction of the business and prepare the financial statement. The accounting process begins with the account of business transaction that are taken from the source of document. The source documents are very short, relying upon the type of transaction. For example, receipt and checks. The transactions are then classified and recorded in the appropriate journals or book of prime entry. Journals can be classified into general, purchase, sales, cash payment, receipt, return inward, and return outward. The process towards recording transactions in the journal is known as journalizing. After the transactions are recorded in the journals, the total will be posted to the appropriate account in the ledgers. This phase is referred to as posting. Ledgers can be classified into general ledger, sales ledger, and purchase ledger. For example, if a customer paid for any item with cash, the transaction entered under the sales ledger. Commit One Stop Enterprise also make a lot of purchases on credit term, so it will be posted to the purchasers also called by payable ledgers. The trial balance shall be prepared at the end of the month or at the end of the accounting period. The goal is that the transactions of Commit One Stop Enterprise have been correctly recorded in the books of account. Adjustments must be made where there is a mistake. Adjustments are often created at the end of the accounting period for the expenditures, revenues, and depreciation. In these cases, the adjustment of depreciation and expenditure is normal within Commit One Stop Enterprise. Still, Ms. Kumecher, the owner, managed to settle it by recalculating the value again. The trial balance will tell the company its adjusted balance is in each account. Since the business uses a proper accounting system, there will be an adjusted trial balance. Finally, the financial statement may be prepared by collecting details from the balance sheet of the trial balance. The financial statement shall contain the statement of profit or loss and the statement financial position. This shall be done in accordance with the clause of the accounting period and shall not exceed 12 months. Amazingly, Ms. May has a bachelor degree in business administration, so she has the advantage of preparation of the financial statement herself. Next slide. Next, we move to the part of strengths and weaknesses of recording. Why? Because we have to identify and do a postmortem to improve our business in the future. First point is a good preparation of financial statement. Accounting recording process makes it easier to prepare the business financial statement. A proper recording process like Commit One Stop Enterprise straightforward identify the total of business transaction as well as business profit and loss statement. Second point is when there is a clear and proper recording process, it helps Commit One Stop Enterprise to decide after knowing about the business accounting details and condition. Next point, recording process allows the business to compare the current financial statement with the previous month's financial. Moreover, it is easier for the management to examine the systematic documentation of all financial transactions. It is difficult for us to remember every transaction of financial statements such as asset, utility expenses, rental, and profit and loss if there is no documented recording process. Thus, fourth point is a proper process can replace the need to remember each business transaction. Not everything is perfect. Now, let us think about the weaknesses of recording process so that in the future we are able to turn it into our advantages. The first point is accountants have a personal impact on the business accounting records. There are various methods of assets valuation, depreciation method, profit and loss recording process, thus subject to prejudice or bias. Next, actual cost of fixed assets. Perhaps there is difference between the original cost and the current cost of replacing a fixed asset due to time outflow, the technical switch, and more. Thus, the financial position could not indicate the trueness and fairness of the financial statement of the business. Last part, insufficient information. By having recording process, the information will not exactly precise because there may be information that are missed by the accountant. This will cause the whole recording process to be disturbed. For example, there is over expenditure or expenditure. This can contribute to inadequate details on the financial statement. And this is the final of our slide. Thank you for listening for us. Thank you.